Kick things off with our developing story unfolding in Cape Town at this hour, where Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana is currently hosting a post-budget breakfast after the budget speech that was announced yesterday, including this decision, of course, to withdraw that 20 billion rand in tax increases that was previously announced by the minister. Let's listen in for a while.
Perspective, giving some of the challenges that we were experiencing from a domestic context perspective, but despite that, we've been able to stay the course. We are currently hitting some of those targets, and we are also indicating, based on the 4 pillars that the minister so eloquently reflected on this morning, the direction that we want to go for the South African economy and subsequently also for the fiscus. So I think overall, the single most important message that this budget provides is that we had set ourselves an ambitious path. We're meeting some of those targets. We've got a way to go, but we've got a plan to get there. Thanks.
Thank you, Bipuso. Okay. One more this side and then go back.
Good morning. I'm Truly Kiketsi from TechRise, a technology company. I think my question goes to the minister. We just wanted to find out if there is a tech and digital ecosystem framework. And this is precisely because we have AI with us. And the gap between, or bridging the gap between the skills development and having a lot of our institution adopting the skills that we are developing. There's a huge gap there. And merely because mostly certain departments are not ready to adopt the skills, the upcoming skills. So do we have a framework that can address that as we engage on multinational companies to keep skilling the young ones and training them, but they end up not having work within the government space?
Do you have a framework?
The National Treasury does not have a framework. Perhaps the Department of Communications and Digital Technologies is better placed to answer the question. But I think it's an important reflection, Minister, that links to your earlier point about how do we build a skills ecosystem that is better at creating the kind of skills that we need and skilling individuals to be better positioned to join the workforce. And I think you made the point earlier that there's quite a lot of work that needs to be done this year to get us there.
Yeah, I think we must agree that that's a fundamental weakness in an environment. We talk about digital, everybody talks about, but there's no overarching framework which is coordinating the whole of government. There's an attempt at the moment, which competing attempts, one at Department of Communication and Digital Technologies and the Presidency, to try and provide this overarching coordinating work.
Yep. Okay. Let's go back this side.
Good morning. I am Matsidi Solengwasa. You can call me TD, and I'm from civil society, so Budget Justice Coalition and Section 27. So I just wanted to ask from a more human rights side and about what this budget means for our communities and the lived experiences of people across our country. Because on the one hand, you know, as a sector of as civil society, we do welcome the above inflation overall increases to areas like education and health. But I worry when I saw the allocations towards social infrastructure around education infrastructure and health infrastructure that there might be, and the basic education employment program, that there might be real-term decreases to that. So I just wanted to ask, like, what the rationale was around that, especially considering that, you know, across communities in our country, there are people who are braving, you know, dilapidated infrastructure, clinics that are falling apart, classrooms that are overcrowded, and our view is, of course, that the budget is a really good tool, a fiscal tool to better position the state to rebuild our communities. So just wanted to get a sense of National Treasury's thinking and rationale around that. Thank you.
But you start on the assumptions that there's a decrease.
Yeah.
In real terms?
No, on infrastructure.
Okay.
you start on the assumption that there's a decrease, and you don't say what number to which number. And that assumption is inaccurate. Let's start there first. The second point, you're correct to posing that question, is what we're correctly putting at an infrastructure side. Well, I even make a statement calling on all the department to submit their projects on the social infrastructure. We list a number of departments there, including, for instance, at the university level, student accommodation, new university infrastructure, TVETs, where all of that is in the infrastructure section.
I would add, Minister,
Yeah.
Sorry, were you?
Yeah.
I would just add, infrastructure budgets are growing by almost 10% per year. And the way we've positioned the budget is to say that to the extent that there are sectors and departments that have priority investments, infrastructure investments required in health, education, and other areas, the mechanism that we've created for that, which is the budget facility for infrastructure, is available to support that. And it used to have one opportunity for departments to submit proposals. It now has 4 opportunities per year. And we've created a team at the DBSA that helps departments and entities package their projects. And we've underpinned the budget facility for infrastructure with an infrastructure bond that allows us to raise the finances to support those projects. So the opportunities for us to fund those projects are certainly there. It's now up to departments and entities to take advantage of that opportunity. The other point I would make is that there are 2 very large investments that are announced as part of this budget, which is very important for the communities that you talk about. The one is the massive investments that we are making in commuter rail. In the order of 20 billion rand is being directed for investments in signalling infrastructure, the rolling stock program, and the operations budgets of PRASA, which is going to be very important to address the point that the DM made earlier about spatial inequality and the cost of transport for working families. And we'll be watching PRASA very closely over the next few years to ensure that they can...
All right, so these are live pictures we're beaming to you from Cape Town at 10 minutes after 9 o'clock this Thursday morning. The morning after the budget that was delivered, of course, the finance minister answering questions from a wide variety of stakeholders, shall we call them, civil societies represented there, as well as several other groupings, hoping to get a better sense of what these major announcements yesterday actually mean for the ordinary South African. You had questions there around the marginalized and to what extent we can expect infrastructure development, for example, to start yielding results. We'll keep a very close eye on that, and in fact, within the half hour, we'll also speak to a taxation specialist to get you a sense of what yesterday's tax-related announcement may mean for you and me.